Your perception of yourself and your reality is largely going to determine what you make of yourself and what you make of your life. I want you to imagine the fact that every single person on this planet views reality differently. There are Democrats, there are Republicans, there are people who love themselves, there are people who hate themselves, there are people all in between. There are people who believe in themselves and people who don't believe in themselves, people who are optimistic, people who are pessimistic. All of these ranges throughout every single area of life is filled by a certain person, and not a single person on this planet views reality in the exact way that you do. But the thing is, how you perceive reality, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive the world, and how you perceive yourself within that world, it's going to determine not just how you feel and sort of your attitude towards life, but also what you accomplish, who you turn out to be. So it's very important to realize that when you can start to think differently and perceive yourself and your life and what's possible for you differently, that is greatly going to determine how much change you can create within your life. But the thing is, most people, the moment they wake up, they go down this bunny trail of thought. They're perceiving their past a certain way, their future a certain way, themselves a certain way, what's possible for them, and the world and everything that's going on in the world. They're perceiving it in a certain way, right? There are some people who constantly, they wake up and they feel great and they feel like there's so many opportunities for them. They feel good about themselves. They just feel like they can overcome problems. They can problem solve. They can overcome obstacles. They can act in the ways that they want to act. Well, how do we bring ourselves to a state like that? Right? How do we get back in control over our present moment? How do we feel and act in ways that are aligned with our true higher self and our true higher calling so that we can move throughout our life and day by day be living the life that we want to live? Well, unfortunately, most people find themselves living a life that they don't really want to be living. I think it's something like 85% of people are completely unhappy with their careers, right? 50% of marriages don't work out. They're in relationships that they don't want to be in. They're not happy with their health, right? How do we overcome all of this? Well, you can introduce drugs, you can introduce all of these different things into a person's life, and you can create some change. But in the end, the way somebody is perceiving, the way somebody is feeling, that is what is bringing about their behavior. And it is their behavior that's bringing about the results that they are seeing. So how do we change our behavior so that we can get different results, so that we can be who we want to be, so that we can live the life that we want to live? That is the question. And that is where a special superpower comes into play. Because I want you to think about the fact that the moment you wake up, you are thinking thoughts. You are perceiving your past in a certain way. You're perceiving your future in a certain way. You're perceiving yourself, your life, your relationships, your health, money, career, etc., all in a certain way. And the moment you wake up, you sort of go down this bunny trail of thought, constantly thinking. All of those thoughts are bringing about all of these different emotions. It's creating your attitude towards life. And because of those thoughts, because of those emotions, and just sort of the way you are moving about throughout your day, that is determining your actions. And your actions are determining your results. So what happens here is a lot of people, they want something great for themselves and for their lives, and they find it very difficult for them to bring it about. They use force, and they tend to procrastinate on bringing these things about. They know they should go to the gym. They know they should eat better. They know they should do X, Y, Z, no matter what it may be, but they're not doing it. And it's because they're not doing it because of that bunny trail of thought that's sort of programmed in their mind, that's causing them to have this certain perception and this certain attitude towards themselves and towards their life, and it's causing them to feel and behave in a certain way. So when you try to act in opposition to that bunny trail that's sort of programmed in your mind, that's automatic. You don't have to think about these thoughts coming up. They just come up, right? These feelings just come up, and these behaviors tend to become more and more unconscious, and they just come up, right? You don't have to think about how you brush your teeth anymore. You don't have to think about how you drive to work. You don't have to think about how you greet certain people, right? You've done this before. It is programmed into your mind. It is unconscious activity. So what superpower can we bring into our life so that as we find ourselves going down this bunny trail of thought that's causing us to feel and perceive and behave in a certain way, how do we change that so that we can begin to act and get entirely new results? Again, most people will try to use force here. They'll force themselves to go to the gym. They will force themselves to smoke a little bit less or drink a little bit less or eat better or talk to somebody better, right? Still, they have that bunny trail of thought that's causing them to still have this certain attitude, right? It's like there's this resistance that's coming about when it comes to them moving through their life, being who they want to be, and living out their life in the way that they truly want to. Well, again, it's because of that bunny trail of thought that's sort of automatic. You just wake up and it just comes about. But we can harness a superpower called presence that allows us to, instead of just going down that bunny trail of thought each and every moment of our lives, we can just stop. We can stop the bunny trail of thought. We can stop the bunny trail of emotions that come along with those thoughts. We can stop the bunny trail of unconscious behaviors that come about because of those thoughts and those emotions. That is what presence can bring into your life. It is a superpower that every single person on this planet can harness in order for them to think differently, feel differently, and behave differently. And let me tell you a little bit about what that looks like. Imagine you wake up every single morning and you go down that bunny trail of thought and you're thinking about the past or you're thinking about the future, right? Are you thinking about good things that happened in the past or bad things? Are you thinking about good things that could happen in the future or bad things? That is going to determine how you're feeling. Are you thinking on this bunny trail, are you thinking good things about yourself and what you're capable of? Or are you thinking of limiting things and things that you're not capable of and how stagnant you feel and how things are backtracking in your life? That's this bunny trail. This is your perception of reality. Again, every single person on this planet has a different perception of reality, but the one commonality between everybody is that it's all a bunny trail. It's all thought. It's all emotions. It's all behavior. There's this commonality between every single human. Although the thoughts are different, although the emotions are different, although the behaviors are different, we're all humans that are perceiving the world in a certain way. We go down this bunny trail of thought, and we have those commonalities. But the fourth commonality between different than thinking, feeling, and behaving, the fourth commonality is that we all have this present moment. We all have the ability to, instead of going down that bunny trail and just thinking these thoughts and feeling a certain way and abiding by them, we all have the superpower, which is to be able to be more conscious of those thoughts, to be more present and just aware of them, to be aware of the emotions, how we're feeling and our attitudes. And within the present moment, because we're not so caught up in them, because we're not just simply identified with them and just unconsciously behaving along with them, instead, we're able to witness them, not be so caught up in them, allow these thoughts and these feelings to arise, allow them to dissipate because that is just what they do. And in the moment, we can behave as we please. We can bring a higher level of consciousness into our present moment existence instead of simply being more unconscious. Again, you don't need to think about how you're driving to work. You don't need to think about eating while you're eating. We can do all of these things unconsciously, but when we can bring a higher level of consciousness into our present moment, that is what allows us to be on the bunny trail at first, but then stop. Become aware that you are in this bunny trail of thought witness the thoughts, witness how you're feeling, the emotions, allow them to rise, allow them to fall, and just taking that 1 second or 5 seconds or 10 seconds, that's all it takes for somebody to be able to get off of that bunny trail and get onto a different one. To get off of that bunny trail and to not be sucked into that rabbit hole of maybe dwelling on the past or worrying about the future or judging themselves or limiting themselves, right? So when you find yourself on one of those bunny trails where you are dwelling on the past, worrying about the future, something that's not supportive to you, right? Like let's say you're really worried about you having to go to the gym because you want to lose weight, you want to get healthier. You can be aware of that bunny trail that would normally lead you to not going to the gym, that would normally lead you to procrastinating and feeling not so good about yourself. You can be aware of it and not simply feel all of those emotions that come along with it and behave in a way that you don't want to behave. So there's a big difference between a bunny trail of thought where you are unconscious and you're simply feeling and acting in alignment with it, and the bunny trail that you could be on where you witness that you are on it, and within the present moment, you can just allow it to arise, allow it to fall, and just let it be. That is what allows you to get off of the bunny trail. It allows you to let go of it so that it no longer has some sort of pull and force on you, and it allows you to behave differently. It's very similar to if somebody says something very negative towards you, instead of just blindly reacting to it, what just automatically arises via thought and all of these emotions, and normally you would just say what you want to say, and it could just worsen the situation. It's the same thing as being able to be in that place. When somebody says something negative to you, you can witness the reaction that arises within your mind. You can be aware of it. You can be aware of how you're feeling. And you can just allow it to be. Because when you allow it to be, it arises and it falls. There's no thought. There's no single thought that stays with you. There's no single emotion that just stays with you. The reason why it may seem like thoughts are staying with you is because you're constantly thinking thoughts about that subject. The reason why emotions, like anxiety, whatever it may be, they seem to stay with you is because you're constantly thinking those anxious thoughts. But when you can bring presence into your life, instead of just going down the bunny trail that's having you continue to think and feel in that way, you can just be conscious of it. You can bring that presence into your life, which is truly a superpower, and you can behave differently. You can change your thoughts and emotions much more easier when you're not so caught up in them, when you're not so unconscious about them. That's what I have for you today. If you have any questions, comment below. If you like this, please like it and subscribe to see my next video. I'll see you in there. Bye.